Ahoy and welcome back to another video. Just last night, Nintendo added another game to the Game Boy Advance library of Nintendo Switch Online, a lifelong favorite of mine, Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. I wanted to put out a quick video talking about the game, why I think it's good for beginners and series vets alike, and why I think you ought to give it a go. To give you a little background on my history of this game, this is my first Fire Emblem that I owned. I liked FE7 a lot, the Blazing Blade. When it came out, I borrowed it from a friend. I knew I had to own the next game that came out, which was FE8, Sacred Stones. It's probably my third favorite Fire Emblem game to date, behind Path of Radiance and Three Houses, but it's definitely the one that I've finished the most. I've rolled credits in this game probably a dozen times, easy. Really quick, just in case you've never played Fire Emblem before, the top level explainer is you move characters around on a grid-based map, engage in hands-off, turn-based combat with those enemies, and all the damage and hit rates and all that stuff is calculated by a handful of stats. You level up those stats to increase them, you get equipment, build an army, get to know your characters through support conversations between each other, bada bing, bada boom, rinse and repeat. And that actually brings me to one of my first recommendations for this game, especially for newcomers. It's a pretty breezy playthrough in my opinion. For a first time playthrough, just mainline the story, you're probably looking at around 20 to 25 hours, which is not too bad honestly in my opinion. Especially now that it's on NSO, and if you make one of those pesky bad moves, maybe call it a misclick, you can always rewind and maybe do something different to keep things moving along. If you're the kind of person who likes to wind down at the end of the night with a low dexterity game, this is a great choice. Once you get into the meat of the game, each chapter is probably going to take you maybe around an hour to get through all the combat and the story linking the chapters together. If not though, these games have built-in suspend features, but also you're on NSO now, so you can just make a save state whenever you want to come back in. My next reason to recommend this game is it has incredible replayability. This game was the first to introduce the branching promotion paths for your characters. Basically, when you level up your characters enough, you can use an item to promote them from their class, raising their stats, sometimes giving them new skills, and allowing them to use different weapon types. I think this game has a really underrated promotion system that adds to that replayability because games that precede it don't allow for that player choice to pick what type of class to raise a character into, and they're all just predetermined. This character goes to this class goes to this class. And in later games, you can basically get any character into any class, and personally, I think that takes away from the identities of the characters and their use cases, even if it gives you as the player more options. This game's right in the middle, and I think it's great. Having two, or in some cases, three choices to make each character feel just a little bit more personalized to your playstyle and needs helps make the characters feel special to your army and allows you to play these games again to pick the opposite upgrades, or maybe just new characters altogether. Once again, this game is on the shorter side for the series, so it makes these subsequent runs just that much easier to get through, especially if you're skipping all the story. There are two routes though if you want the full experience. At a point in the game, you'll get the choice to choose between living through the experience of either of the twin lords in the game, Erica or Ephraim, or Ephraim or Ephraim, I don't know how you say it. This route split is maybe 1/3 of the total time of the game, but it allows you to test new maps and interactions with the recruitable characters, maybe make a save state at the moment of choice and just load it back up to replay at the end of the game to get both experiences. This game is also on the easier side for the series, another reason I think it's good for newcomers. Your characters all end up pretty strong, and if you're struggling, you do get to start the game with probably the most broken character in the series, Seth, whose stats are damn near endgame ready once you start the game. This game also has an overworld map between chapters, allowing you the option to go grind on optional maps before carrying forward the story if you so choose. If you're a series veteran, this game might be a tad on the easier side, but you can always create some little challenges to make the run a little tougher. I'm actually about halfway through a recruit-only run on my analog pocket. I don't think the story is particularly notable. It's about on par with other games in the series, lots of dialogue with floating heads between chapters, an interesting enough story about betrayal and revenge and friendship, all the normal JRPG tropes, but I'll just say the story isn't what I come back to the game for. All that said, I cannot recommend this game enough. Just want to make a quick video spreading what word I can, talking about one of my favorite games and one of my favorite series. It's a great pick up and play game. You can play it for 30 minutes or 4 hours, and I think the game's enjoyable both ways. This is a great little game to get some time out of before the launch of the Switch 2, and if you're planning on getting the GameCube tier of the Nintendo Switch Online, you're going to need to upgrade anyhow, so you might as well get some good GBA action in now. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to throw a thumbs up down below, it would be appreciated, and if you're interested in hearing me talk about games in the future, retro, modern, indie, AAA, Nintendo, PlayStation, whoever, consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.